I'm Dr. Mohammad Zakir Hosain, Associate Professor, Department of Finance of Bangladesh University of Business and Technology. The title of my topic is Impact of CSR News on Stock Price of the company listed in Dhaka Stock Exchange Limited in Bangladesh. The corporate social responsibility is a business approach where the companies not only generate return but also ensure social welfare. It provides multiple benefits to the companies like positive business reputation, increased sales and customer loyalty, reduce operating cost, and strengthening the relationship with the customer and creating a better, safer, and more stimulating working environment. The term CSR news include all the publicly disseminated information regarding a firm CSR engagement. The efficient market hypothesis suggests that a company's stock price reacts immediately when such news is released, assuming the market is working efficiently. So there is a clear relationship exists between CSR news announcement and company stock price, but no study has been conducted on these topics in Bangladesh yet. So this study aimed to examine the impact of CSR-related news to four major dimensions, namely healthcare, education, environment, and disaster management on stock price of the company listed in Dhaka Stock Exchange. So this paper contribute to the finance literature by investigating investor reaction to CSR-related news on stock price in emerging countries like Bangladesh. And this study also guide the company's management to use CSR announcement as a strategic tools to influence the stock price, while demonstrating how investors use this information in their decision making to invest in a particular stocks. Now I have to show you some review of literature in home and abroad. And the review of literature confirm a rising trend of corporate involvement in CSR news activities across both developed and developing countries, but limited empirical research on these issues, particularly in terms of CSR news. In Bangladesh, nearly all the study concentrated on the relationship between firm performance with CSR reporting or CSR disclosure, but no study has been conducted in the impact of CSR-related news on stock price. The conceptual framework has been developed on the basis of signaling theory, stakeholder theory, and resource-based theory and other empirical evidence. And based on this conceptual framework, the following four hypothesis has been tested: healthcare, education, environment, and disaster management CSR news influence the stock price of the listed companies in Bangladesh. This study is considered to be a causal research, and the relationship has been tested by using quantitative approach. The target population of this study is all the news related to corporate social responsibility performed by the listed companies. And the sampling element of this study is 25 companies from 7 different industries, and the sampling unit are 4 CSR news. So this study encompasses 101 CSR news related from CSR engagement from 2017 to 2023. And judgmental sampling technique has been used to collect the data. The information of CSR news has been collected from CSR window, Google News, and CSR archive from some companies. And closing price database has been collected from the data stream from Dhaka Stock Exchange Limited in Bangladesh. So by this way, 27 news from healthcare and 26 news from education, 18 news from environment, and 30 news from disaster management has been collected. And Bauman's model of event studies has been used to guide the process of implementation and assessment. And these steps follow up 5 steps. The first one is selection of event. The second one is establishment of hypothesis. The third one is calculation of average abnormal return. Then calculate the cumulative average abnormal return, and finally analyze the result. And T0 is defined the day of event of the announcement of the news. And this study consider a short time windows before 2 days and after 2 days. Before 2 days the announcement date, and after 2 days the announcement days. And the estimation period has been considered before 25 252 before the announcement of event date. And this is the detailed methodological calculation. And the healthcare related news has strongly and negatively influenced the stock return before and after the announcement date. The environmental related news is strongly influenced after the announcement date. The education related news have a strongly influence on the announcement date and before the announcement date on a stock return of the listed companies. And finally, the disaster management has significantly and positive influence on the stock return on the day on event. And finally, the education related news, environmental related news, and disaster related news has a significant impact on the stock return, but the study does not found any significant relationship with healthcare related CSR news on stock return. So the core finding measured by cumulative abnormal return over a 5 days window period reveal a clear picture. Corporate social responsibility news in education and disaster management is well received by the investors and generate positive market return. This is perceived as a value creating because it aligns with the national sustainable goal, build goodwill, and ensure social ongoing acceptances. The environmental related CSR news generate a strong positive and significant negative market return. The investor appear to view as it is costly signal of the regulatory burden and eroding short-term shareholder value. The equity market remain indifferent to healthcare related CSR with an insignificant negative value. So the view neither as a strategic advantage nor as a financial detriment. And this study has some implication from 2 points of view, theoretical implication and practical implication. The theoretical implication of this finding strongly support the signaling theory and stakeholder theory because CSR news act as a powerful signal to the market, but the interpretation may varies. Positive news in a certain categories enhance the investor confidence and stakeholder relationship, but negative news can sell a trigger off. From practical point of view, this research offer a crucial insight for the corporate management, for the investors and security analysis, even the regulatory authority like Bangladesh Security and Access Commission. Firstly, the result provide a strategic roadmap for corporate management. Secondly, CSR news should be treated as a price-sensitive information and use decision-making process by the investors and security analysis and regulator like Bangladesh Security and Exchange Commission should develop the formal guideline to classify the CSR news as a mandatory disclosure, improving the market efficiency and fairness. And this study have some few limitation. Firstly, the CSR windows, Google News, and CSR archive of some companies are the source of news. For all the companies, CSR news of the listed companies are not disclosed. Even the data archive of Dhaka Stock Exchange does not maintain any information regarding these issues. So I have given some future suggestion by expanding this research and increasing the sample size, even employing long-term performance measure to compare the investor reaction across different CSR categories. And despite this limitation, it is one of the most comprehensive studies in the context of Bangladesh, even emerging countries, how CSR related news impact on stock price. Thank you very much. Can I have your question?